So I title this message, Sacrifice, or Getting Ready for Grace. You know, throughout the Old Testament, I think starting with Abraham, God sanctioned sacrifice, animal sacrifice. And that didn't really end until Christ came, because he, of course, was the ultimate sacrifice. But, going back, I've always wondered, in light of the fact that God clearly has revealed himself as the maker of heaven and earth, you can read that throughout his word, as the beginning and the end, the first and the last. I've always been somewhat leery of sacrifice, because I've always wondered, what good with a God who made the universe would slitting a goat or a sheep's throat and burning them on altars, or, cutting up your cattle and burning them on altars do? Really, you're dealing with a God of the universe, the God who made all living things. And I think upon further reflection, man was never really justified by sacrifice. He was justified really by putting his trust in the living God. Romans 5, and it says that Abraham was justified by faith. In other words, God counted his faith as righteousness. And so I think really Adam and Eve, Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, and Joseph were justified by faith just as we are, because it says in Revelation that Christ was the Lamb slain before the foundation of the world. And so there is kind of an outside of time aspect to the crucifixion of Christ. He was crucified 2,000 years ago, no doubt about that, right? But with God, it really had always happened. And so I think really, in light of all of this, the real purpose of the sacrifice, of the institution of the sacrifice, wasn't so much that man would be justified, but it was rather to prepare the hearts of the Israelites so that they would understand the ultimate sacrifice when it was offered, and that, of course, was Jesus Christ. Had the institution of the sacrifice not been ingrained in the fiber of Israel, I believe that the ministry of Christ would have been a failure, because the people wouldn't have understood it against that backdrop. And I think it would have been a failure for us, the Gentiles, as well. Well, God bless you, Katie.